Daken is the latest season pass in Marvel Snap. In this video, we're going to determine whether or not Daken is worth the $10. Spoiler alert, the answer is going to be yes, especially if you're new to the game. Now, what makes Daken good? On reveal, you're going to add the Muramasu shard to your hand. When it's discarded or destroyed, you're going to double Daken's power. Doubling Daken's power to 8 is already a really strong 3-drop. The next closest thing we got is Maximus at 7 power, or Thor, who you could get up to 10 power, but you gotta find Mjolnir in your deck and play that out. Daken immediately puts the shard back into your hand, so you know that you don't have to go searching for it. It doesn't ruin your draw, and you know you'll be able to play it out on the next turn. Daken is fantastic for new people. In the beginning, when you're in pool 1, pool 2, Destroy feels okay, but it's kind of the weakest of the best pool 1 and pool 2 decks. Adding Daken and his shard is going to make Destroy feel that much stronger. It's going to suddenly become a much more relevant pool 1 and pool 2 deck. And discard in pools 1 and pool 2 is actually pretty terrible. It does not feel good. It does not win games often enough. Daken is suddenly going to be a difference maker in that aspect too. If you discard that shard, that is a very, very nice thing, especially when you're in pool 1 and pool 2 and you got yourself a solid 8 power card there. I tested out Daken for over 3 hours on stream today. So far, he's produced incredible results. I played with 3 different deck archetypes: a destroy deck, a discard deck, and a silver surfer deck. The destroy deck ended up having a 70% win rate. I went 7-3, kind of felt like the best package to play him in. It was really easy to play him out on turn 3 and then go ahead and destroy the shard on turn 4 with either Carnage or Venom. Getting an extra 8 power on the board in a destroy deck really kind of changes the game in a lot of ways. It's something you can play out on curve and just kind of help make your death a little cheaper. It helps you to easily set up a big last turn play where you're destroying a bunch of things and sending Nimrods everywhere while simultaneously destroying that shard and making Daken a solid 8 power card, alongside a buffed up Wolverine or a Bucky Barnes that turned into Winter Soldier. Now, 70% win rate is not probably sustainable long term with this deck. It only was a 10 game sample size. All in all, it felt like a great upgrade to a classic Marvel Snap deck. The next deck I want to talk about is my discard deck, which was technically the most successful in terms of net cubes out of all these decks, but I also played the most games with it. It had a 63.6% win rate, which is really good. My only issue is that I didn't play Daken out as often as I wanted to. There's probably a better discard shell in terms of utilizing Daken. Either way, it still made the deck a little bit stronger when you did play him and you did discard that shard. But I found that most of the time I was kind of just going back to the standard that I usually use, where you're dropping Morbius or the Collector on 2, then of course you're storming a location, dropping Dracula in that stormed location, playing MODOK on 5, dropping Apocalypse or America Chavez, depending on what's the better power play, and Dracula's gonna end up discarding whichever one you didn't drop. That's just a tried and true deck. Daken didn't really make too much of a difference there. Daken will get better play in probably different kinds of discard shells, and if I'm not doing exactly the same formulaic moves. However, when I didn't go down the standard route, Daken's additional 8 power that I normally wouldn't have ended up being a difference maker in a bunch of situations. And the last deck that I'm going to talk about is the Silver Surfer deck that I ended up having a 60% win rate. It says net cubes -1, but that's not really going to be the case when you have a win rate of 60%. It's just that the last 2 games that I got involved in right before I got off stream, I ended up losing back-to-back 8 cubers because I maybe snapped a little prematurely and also lost 1 game by 1 point. Daken made this Surfer shell feel 10 times better. With Nova and the shard out there, that Killmonger puts in a lot of work. There's a lot of times that your opponents are playing Killmonger right now in the meta, so even if you don't end up drawing him, does make a difference. Daken turning into an 8 power card, putting Maximus in another location for 7 power, and then dropping that Surfer out there makes this deck so so much stronger. I can't really emphasize how awesome it was to have that Daken get all the way up to 10 and just do a whole lot of work. Are there going to be better Silver Surfer shells out there for Daken? There probably are, but I can only experiment with these 3 decks to start with. I'm going to be doing a lot more on stream with Daken because I really love this card. It is a ton of fun to play with. There are other Daken shells that should be experimented with, including Moon Girl, who can duplicate that shard, Wong, who can also duplicate that shard, Shuri, who can double Daken's power, and then killing the shard will double him again. You might even be able to fit all 3 of those in the same deck. Again, I haven't tried it yet, but I am looking forward to using different shells with Daken. He's a lot more versatile than I gave credit to when I first heard that he was going to be the season pass. All in all, I think that this card is worth the $10. I think this is a really solid season pass card. It's going to be a card that you're going to add into a variety of different decks that you're going to be playing a lot. And it's especially good if you're a new person because of the added benefits to destroy and discard that aren't very strong when you first start the game. This is definitely a much better card than Phoenix Force. I would argue that it's probably going to be a more useful card than Ghost Spider, which was still a very solid card in and of itself. This is the best season pass that we've gotten in quite a few months, and I'm really excited to continue experimenting with it. Thank you so much for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.